Hey guys, this is Jason and Frank, and you're with Robbie Rebel, Power Rangers Monday. That's right, Tommy Oliver right here. Boom, it's morphing time.
Okay guys, Rebel here, back in with another video. Sorry for the long hiatus with London Comic Con out the way now, and you know, having the con blues and getting back to work and everything. I haven't had time or the ambitions to do anything, but I'm back now and I'm going to be reviewing Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger! So I've been binge watching the entire series of Gokaiger for the past 2 months now, and after watching it in full, including all 3 movies, I can fully appreciate it and understand why it is one of the most popular, if not the most popular Sentai series today. Before I start reviewing this series, I would just like to say a big fuck you to Saban and Nickelodeon for taking something so amazing and adapting it to something like Super Mega Force. Well done guys for taking a superhero drama and making it into a preschool cash cow. Thanks guys, you sure know how to appeal to the fans. Now that's out of the way with, let's continue with the review. First thing we're going to talk about is the Gokaiger finale, which set up the storyline for Gokaiger. Megaforce to all you non-Sentai fans. The finale of Gokaiger was a legendary war, where all the past Sentai showed up, sacrificing their powers to stop the Zanyak army. Unfortunately, it only destroyed the Zanyak in the proximity of Earth and not the universe as a whole. The powers of the previous 34 Sentai teams were then scattered throughout the universe as Ranger Keys. This led to the arrival of Aka Red. Aka Red is a special ranger. He is the embodiment of all the previous Red Rangers. He only shows up during an anniversary year. His previous arrival was during the 30th anniversary in Bukenja. Again, that's Operation Overdrive to you non-Sentai fans. Okay, so Gokaiger was the 35th incarnation of Super Sentai and was celebrated as a big anniversary year. Okay, so first off, the overall storyline was amazing. The story going into this was that you had a group of 5 individuals who had bad attitudes and were only out for themselves. All they wanted was treasure, and the only reason that they stuck together was because they were after the same thing: the greatest treasure in the universe. Now, none of them know what the greatest treasure in the universe was. All they knew was that it was on Earth. As you could tell, this series was pirate themed, and pirates tend to be bad people. So when I was watching this, it didn't feel like a typical Ranger series. They would only fight the Zanyak if they were in their way. They wouldn't fight to protect people or protect the Earth, which is why I understood the popularity of the series. The Sentai were portrayed as anti-heroes. As the series went along, more and more of the story unfolded, and we found out that to find the greatest treasure in the universe, the pirates would have to find every Ranger Key and gain the ultimate power of all 35 Sentai teams. The best way to describe an ultimate power would be saying to have the blessing of an actual member of that team. The power would manifest itself in different ways, whether it would be an auxiliary Zord, weapon, or special attack. So now we're going to talk about the cast themselves, and so we start with Gokai Pink. It's really hard to pronounce her name. It's spelled A-H-I-M. It sounds Amish. We're going to go Ahim. Ahim was a princess on a planet that was destroyed by the Zanyak. She saw everyone and everything she knew die in front of her. Her motivation was really unknown, as she was the nicest of the crew. She saw her parents die in front of her, her family die in front of her, her people die in front of her, so she joined the pirates. Interesting. Next we're going to Gokai Green. Doc. Doc is a scientist, mechanic, and a cook. He suffered from OCD quite a bit. He had no beef with the Zanyak, but Gokai Red brought him along because he was tired of bad food. Doc was clumsy and couldn't fight, and always felt like he didn't belong in the team, so that was a good courage story going forward. Next we'll go to Gokai Yellow, Luca. Proper tomboy this one. Luca likes her jewelry and is pretty badass. The story is revenge for the Zanyak destroying her planet and killing her little sister. That love later transferred to Ahim, and the pair became really close. Now we talk about Gokai Blue, Joe. What a Japanese name that is, Joe. Proper Japanese that. Joe was once a Zanyak soldier before realising how bad the Zanyak were, and his conscience got the best of him. Whilst trying to escape, he was caught by he was cool. Yeah, he was cool. He was cool, but was helped by his friend Sid. Later we find out that Sid was experimented on and was turned into a mindless cyborg who Joe had to kill to save his soul. Talk about emotional. Then, Mr. Marvelous himself, Gokai Red. Captain Marvelous has the best backstory of them all. Akka Red stumbled upon Marvelous whilst he was searching for the Ranger Keys. He decided to bring him on his journey. Akka Red promised to make Marvelous' dreams come true by getting the greatest treasure in the universe. He wasn't the only person that Akka Red decided to bring along for the trip. He also met a man called Basco, who wanted to fulfill his dreams too. So the three of them became known as the Red Pirates. Unfortunately, Basco wanted the treasure himself, so he stole the Ranger Keys and handed over Akka Red and Marvelous to the Zanyak. Akka Red fought them off so Marvelous could escape, and Akka Red made him promise that he would find his dreams, that he would find all the Ranger Keys. Marvelous' motivation was friendship, but he never knew until later because Marvelous likes to be a hard man. Proper hard him. Now, Gokai Silver. Gokai Silver showed up about 12 episodes in, debuting at the end of the first movie versus Goseiger. Guy was a human and a big fan of the Super Sentai. He would teach the others about the Sentai and human traditions and emotions. He was the heart of the crew and turned them from a crew into a family. So, those are the main 6 cast members, and I couldn't actually pick a favourite one out of a lot of them. It would definitely be between Marvelous and Guy and Luca. I mean, those three definitely up there for me. They were just amazing, like the way they played them and the way they would project their emotions and everything, which I think was absolutely amazing. Now, I like to think that this series has 3 story arcs because it had 3 major villains. Wars Gil, Basco and Sally, and then Emperor Gil. Just like any typical Ranger series, you would have your main villain, then your generals, then your monsters, and so forth. So, Wars Gil sends monsters till he runs out, and then he goes and fights the pirates himself, where he would lose and die. This was about 35 episodes in. Nothing really to say about this. This would lead to his father, Emperor Gil, to come and see the destruction of Earth personally himself. The finale played out exactly the same as Super Megaforce, when Red and Silver would crash the Emperor's ship and destroy the fleet with it. So if you've seen Super Megaforce, that needs no explanation. The villain that intrigued me the most was Basco. Even though he didn't have the ability to morph, he had a Zanyak form and was able to summon the Rangers through their Ranger Keys. The majority of the keys he had were 6 Ranger Keys, so they all went to Guy once they were reclaimed. The feud between Basco and Marvelous is one of betrayal and vengeance. Basco would show up here and there throughout the series, showing up with more keys and some ultimate powers that he had stole from previous Sentai teams. Marvelous would beat Basco through determination and self-sacrifice. It was an amazing story and battle with a great payoff. Now, once the Gokaigers had gathered all the Ranger Keys and ultimate powers, they were able to gather the greatest treasure in the universe. This treasure was the power to make dreams come true. Literally. In their hands, they had the power to bring back their loved ones that they had lost. Aham's planet and parents, Luca's planet and sister, Joe's friend Sid. They could even wipe out the Zanyak and bring peace to the universe. However, it would come at a great price. The powers of the previous 34 Sentai teams would be wiped from existence. The history, the memories, the knowledge of the Super Sentai. After much thinking, it was Guy that said that it had to be done, but the pirates would not allow it. After spending the year on Earth, gaining the trust of all the Sentai that have come before them, they finally realised what it meant to be entrusted with the power of the Sentai, and they were not going to give in so easily, and decided to sacrifice their dreams, so the dreams of the Sentai can live on. Which to me is a fantastic story. You've gone from a group of people who only care about themselves, to a family that now put others in front of themselves. That is how you make a fantastic story. Now, after watching 51 episodes and 3 theatrical feature films, I can fully understand the popularity with not only this series, but its cast and its meaning. It's a story of growth, compassion, family, and sacrifice. Something Saban need to look at and adapt for their future Power Ranger stories. I highly recommend you guys watch this because it blows Super Megaforce out of the water and is phenomenal. Thanks again, guys, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember to keep rebelizing those pages, and may the power protect you. Let's make a show of it. Goka change!